Welcome to Breakdown. Today is Tuesday, March 7th. NFL Combine is over. JJ, we're going to break down the SEC and the Big Ten participation in the Combine. You ready to do it?
I'm always ready, Dad. You ready?
I was born ready.
Let's do it.
All right, JJ, the Combine, as I said, is over. There were 319 participants.
There were.
Invitees. The SEC had 83 invitees.
Yeah.
The Big Ten had 63.
Yeah.
Michigan led the way with 9 for the Big Ten, and of course, Ohio State was second. In the SEC, Alabama led the way with 13 invitees, and Georgia was second with 12. But now that it's all over, who won? SEC or the Big Ten?
Who won the Combine?
won?
I think that depends. I mean, I think at the most important position, quarterback, I think the SEC did really well for themselves.
Let me ask you a question. To whom, Mr. Sports Savant, is the Combine more important? Is it more important to the players, or is it more important to the teams?
I think it's more important to the players because the players have things to lose at the Combine.
What do they have? They have things to gain?
You can gain, but for the most part, the tape is the tape. It's just confirmation. If you played in a situation where you didn't have to backpedal, if you're like a cornerback and you played a specific scheme, you didn't have to backpedal, and you do really well in the backpedal because they don't have it on tape, you can benefit from that. But I think it's more important for the players then.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think it's 50-50.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah.
That's the easy way out. But, I don't know. The players seem to look forward to it. They start practicing for it way before. As soon as the season's over, right before the Combine. So they start preparing for it. They all look forward to it. I think the players themselves think they have a lot invested. That's why some players refuse to even participate in certain things.
I'll modify my answer. I'll say it's most important to the players coming off of injury. That's what's most important because it's the medical meat market. It's all about medicals for the most part
and measurements.
And measurements, yes.
And stats.
Yeah.
Okay, JJ, we're gonna start. You said the quarterback is the most important position. You want to hit the quarterbacks first? You want to hit us last?
Yeah, well, we can go first with the quarterbacks.
Okay.
Anthony Richardson obviously had himself a day.
He was the quarterback. He was the quarterback from Florida.
But just athletically, he just tested out the charts. 6'4", 245, ran 4.43 40.
Okay.
Which was faster than Justin Fields, who this past season led the NFL all-time rushing from a quarterback in one season.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good. 40 and a half inch vertical jump. I mean, he was spectacular. He wowed, and his measurements, I think, are really impressive. Will Levis also had a really good day. He threw the ball a velocity of 59 miles per hour.
Okay.
He needs a quarterback from Kentucky.
Okay, I'm about to mention that.
And he had a good season his junior year and a not so good season his senior year. But he said, he was going to throw. Every quarterback didn't throw at the Combine. Bryce Young didn't throw.
Right.
Because he said he was going to throw because he had a cannon and he was here to show it off. That I believe is what he said verbatim.
Okay.
And he did show it off. He threw 59 miles per hour, which was actually tied with Stetson Bennett. So, everyone thinks Stetson Bennett has such a strong arm, but that was actually another quarterback, the Georgia reigning two-time champion, had a really good performance with his ball velocity. He threw 59 miles per hour, ran a 4.67 40.
Did any quarterback hurt themselves?
No, Bryce Young came in Bryce Young did it in the weight category. He came in over 200 at 204, which is right in. It's a little bit smaller than Mike Vick and Drew Brees. I think they were 212 and 209 back in 2000. And pretty much every other quarterback is a lot heavier. Even Russell Wilson, who was short, was a stocky guy. So,
okay.
But he was 5'10 and 1/8.
Okay.
He was even shorter than people thought he was going to be. He was 5'11, and he did not throw. But I don't think anyone really hurt themselves. What do you think?
Okay. At quarterback, I'll just say this. The SEC had 5 quarterbacks there. The Big Ten had 2.
Yeah.
Purdue's quarterback was there, and as you mentioned earlier, Ohio State.
Yeah. And CJ Stroud apparently he didn't run, he didn't do any like that, but he did do the on field drills. He looked the best throwing the ball. Anybody out there?
I heard he was dropping dimes in every length of the field, short, long, intermediate. He was just placing the ball right where it had to be.
Absolutely, and it's still about when it comes down to it, it's still about throwing the ball from the quarterbacks.
Okay, that's good, but can he throw it underhanded, sidearm, all of that? Because those things come into play as Patrick Mahomes or a lot of other quarterbacks. Can you throw it, sidearm?
Hey, Tom Brady's I've never seen Tom Brady throw a sidearm. I think he did pretty decently towards 7 championships.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I do get your point. It's a new game. It's a new day, and Patrick Mahomes is, he's the best out right now.
But no, back to the point, CJ Stroud. I forget what he called himself, but he did put on a clinic in accuracy.
Yeah.
You can't help but say that.
Yeah.
So, did his accuracy improve his? I mean, who's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft? Who's going to be the first quarterback taken? And I know we don't know that, and there's a lot of them out there, but I still say it's down between 2 people. Even though Anthony Richardson had a hell of a
combine, the tape doesn't.
Yeah, so to me, it's still down between 2 quarterbacks.
I think it's down to Will Levis or CJ Stroud. I'm taking CJ Stroud 10 times out of 10. I think I've heard some Bryce Young chatter as well. Actually, after the combine, Will Levis was the heavy favorite to be the number 1 quarterback taken before the combine.
Wow.
After the combine, apparently because of his cockiness, his attitude, he was no longer he's dropped down to 3rd or 4th quarterback. So I think CJ Stroud did the best. I'd feel most comfortable taking CJ Stroud. If I'm a GM, I'm taking him.
I do think he did the best too. It's going to be interesting where Bryce Young ends up.
It will be. I mean, Houston is the obvious.
All of these quarterbacks are first-round picks, right?
I wasn't sure about Anthony Richardson before the combine, but I think someone's going to talk themselves into just the talent, the potential. Before
we leave the quarterbacks, what can you tell me about the reigning national champion, their quarterback, Stetson Bennett?
I told you he threw as fast as Will Levis. He threw 59 miles per hour. He was 5'11". He ran a 4.67 40, which was just good for him.
My question was, is he a first round pick? I guess.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't draft him.
That's what I was. No.
Oh no.
What round do you think he will go?
Second.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you done with quarterbacks? Anything more you want to talk about?
I think that's about it for the Big Ten and the SEC on quarterbacks.
Okay. Let's stay with offense.
Okay, let's stay with offense.
Let's do the ball carriers.
Okay, running backs.
Yes, sir. Just really quickly, the Big Ten sent 3 running backs to the combine.
Yeah.
Illinois, Minnesota, Northwestern.
Yeah.
And the SEC sent 6.
Mm-hmm.
Who impressed among the running backs?
Well, Jahmyr Gibbs impressed from Alabama.
Okay.
He's more than just a running back, but he's like an Alvin Kamara type. He can, go out into the flat and catch passes as well. But he ran a 4.36 40. So, that was incredibly good.
And he did not partake of all the activities.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
Okay.
Obviously, Devin Achane of Texas A&M, he ran all over Arkansas.
Hey, we don't have to bring that up now. We're talking about the combine.
That's true. He ran even faster at 4.32.
Okay.
He only had 33-inch vertical, but 5'9". He did a backflip at the end of his combine performance to top it off. He had a really good performance. I wouldn't be surprised if those guys were late first, second rounders. And then obviously Chase Brown of Illinois.
Chase Brown, the Big Ten leading rusher this past year, the native from Canada.
Yeah.
How did he do?
40-inch vert, 4.43 40, 5'10", 209, about the same size as Bryce Young actually. So he was a little slighter than I guess I was.
And he would be carrying the ball more so than Bryce Young.
I would think so. But yeah, he did well. He showed well for himself athletically. He did really well. I would say Northwestern also had Evan Hall, who ran a 4.47. He did pretty well. I would say someone who did not do well for at the combine would be Georgia's Kenny McIntosh.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 6 foot 204. Big guy. He ran a 4.62 40. And it doesn't really matter. Your 40 time doesn't really matter when it comes to running back. They're more about like how shifty and quick you are in like in tight spaces.
Understood.
But he didn't really impress. That was a pretty slow 40 time for me.
Who's the biggest game breaker among the running backs to you?
Oh, I think Devin Achane is.
Okay.
Yeah.
More so than Gibbs.
Yeah, I mean, out of these running back, I mean, I think the biggest running. This isn't a SEC or Big Ten, but that little scat back from Kansas State. What was his name? Deuce something. Well, he seems. I think he's the biggest game breaker.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody has anything like that, but Devin Achane, out of SEC, Big Ten, I'd stick with them. What about you?
It's hard, man. It's hard, but I will agree with you on A&M's running back.
Yeah.
Let's go to the other playmakers.
Okay.
The wide receivers.
Wide receivers.
Just before we get there, the Big Ten had 10 wide receivers at the combine.
Yeah.
The SEC had 11
Yeah.
wide receivers at the combine. Who stood out?
Who stood out? Well, Matt Landers of Arkansas stood out. 6'4", 200, big receiver, ran a 4.37.
Did that surprise you?
Yeah. I mean, I knew he was fast at Arkansas. I mean, you were always higher on him than me, and you were right. You were right on that. But I knew he was fast, but I didn't know he was 4.37. He didn't look 4.37 fast, and sometimes that can happen when you're 6'4". I remember Terrell Pryor was a lot faster than he would sometimes look.
Okay.
Just long strides. But I was surprised. He had a 10-10 broad jump. I mean, I knew he was an athlete, but
Yeah, I was impressed with him. After about the fourth or fifth game on, he really impressed me.
yeah.
Who else from the wide receiver's perspective stood out for you?
I'm going to go with Jackson Smith at Jigba.
Yes, sir.
He didn't run the 40 because we all knew it was going to be pretty slow.
Yeah.
But
From Ohio State.
From Ohio State. Yeah. He didn't run the 40, but he did everything else, and he looked amazing doing it.
He did the 20-yard shuttle.
Yes, he did.
And his time, the best of a receiver since 2014.
Yeah. The 20-yard shuttle, and he did the 3-cone drill.
Okay.
And that was the best, too. He had a 6.57. No other receiver at the entire combine was within a 6.85, and he had 6.57. That's like Antonio Brown ran a slow 40. He ran a 4.5.
Yeah.
He absolutely dominated in the 3-cone drill, and he created space in at the NFL level. I think Jackson Smith at Jigba had a really nice game.
And we know how well Antonio Brown was.
Before
things started happening.
Yeah, on the field.
Yeah,
on the
right.
field.
On the field. Yeah. Okay. What about Michigan Bell, Ronnie Bell from Michigan?
He ran a 4.54. At 6 feet, 191. We kind of figured. I mean, that's actually pretty good for him. He's going to be like a receiver that, I mean, in college, he was really good at like sitting in the zone and finding like the soft spots in the zone. And that's what he's going to do in the NFL. I think he displayed like a clean medical record. I mean, he tore his ACL 2 seasons ago. So that was good to see. It was good to see. I mean, his athletic testing was about in line with what we thought he was going to be. But he's not going to be a day 1 draft pick.
Okay.
He probably won't be day 2 even. He's either late day 2 or early day 3. But I think he did well for himself.
Okay. Unless you want to hit the offensive line, JJ, I'm going to skip the offensive line.
I don't know anything about the offensive line.
Okay, let's do tight end though really quickly.
Okay.
Tight end.
Yeah.
There was one there that impressed me a lot. And that was Georgia.
Oh, Georgia. Okay, I wasn't sure if we're going to the Big Ten. But yeah.
Well,
Darnell Washington.
Big Ten, Darnell Washington from Georgia.
6'7".
6'7", 264 pounds. I ran the 4th fastest 40 among the tight end. Ran a 4.64 40.
Yeah.
For a big man, he'd be moving.
Yeah.
But you mentioned the Big Ten. The Big Ten also had an impressive tight end.
Yeah, he came from they had a tight end, Sam Laporta. He came from a school that's, not known for producing tight ends in the draft, Iowa.
Yes,
I'm just kidding.
Iowa.
Iowa obviously is like tight end U.
Yes.
Greg Kittle, TJ Hawkinson, Noah Fant. I mean, they and Eric Aim from Michigan just transferred over there. It's tight end U, and he ran a 4.59 at 6'3".
The 3rd fastest time over tight end. Well, he's not as big as Darnell Washington. He's faster.
Yeah.
40 times faster.
Yeah, and just to go back to the receivers really quick, I want to say Trey Palmer from Nebraska did well for himself. He ran a 4.33, which was the fastest 40 time of any of the receivers. And just to get back to the receivers, Keyshawn Bout had a horrendous combine. He ran a 40 time of 4.5, and his vertical leap was under 30 inches, which is I don't remember last time I've heard a receiver that did that.
You're right. That's not good for a receiver.
Yeah, he struggled through the drills. I mean, he went into the combine as a potential late day 1 pick, and he'd be lucky to go day 2 after that.
Okay.
And he looked very sloppy. So
JJ, let's talk defense for a while.
Yeah, let's go defense.
I want to do the edges and the cornerbacks.
Okay, let's go.
Who among the edges? Northwestern had a guy there.
Yeah.
I can't even pronounce his name.
Tomiwa Adeborore?
Hey, whatever you say, it works for me.
Yeah.
But who among the edges stood out for you?
Well, the name I'm not going to repeat. He ran under a 4.5 40.
Yeah.
At 282. I mean, that's an athletic specimen right there. Like, you just don't see that.
Indeed.
He stood out. I mean, Jalen Carter stood out. I mean, he didn't do any drills. I mean, but he stood out in that he got arrested at the combine.
He will be an early pick, I think.
He will be an early pick, yeah. Nolan Smith ran a 4.39 40, which was
from Georgia.
He
also had a 41.5-inch vertical leap.
Yeah, and he had a 1.52 10-yard split. I mean, he's really fast. He's a physical freak. I mean, he's faster than Aaron Donald.
Yes.
Yeah, he's. I mean, Georgia just, I don't know what it is in the water, but Georgia seems to do pretty well.
JJ.
Yeah.
Is Will Anderson an edge or a linebacker? What is he?
He's a linebacker.
He's a linebacker?
Yeah. Same as Drew Sanders. They both could be edges to me. Drew Sanders from Arkansas, obviously, and Will Anderson from Alabama.
Okay.
They both could be edges if they wanted to, but they want to be linebackers. They want to go the Von Miller route more so than
Okay, I wonder. I suspect Anderson might end up being an edge.
Yeah, I mean, in certain systems, he absolutely will be. Yeah. It depends, 3-4, 4-3. It depends on the scheme. It depends on who he goes to. But he has the, positional versatility to do either. He ran a 4.6 40, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
are we talking first-round pick for these edges that we just mentioned?
Drew Sanders, absolutely first round. Will Anderson, absolutely first round. The Northwestern defensive end, absolutely first round.
Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. Nolan Smith, obviously, he might be the first. I mean, Jalen Carter was probably going to be the first D lineman to go before, but he might be now.
JJ, let's talk corners. To me, the toughest position on defense to play, corner. The Big Ten had a couple of impressive corners. Who stood out to you among the corners?
Deontay Banks. He ran a 4.35
from Maryland.
6 feet, 197. All corners, nowadays, for the most part, they want bigger corners because
they want speed too.
They want speed, and 4.35 is good. He had a 42-inch vertical leap. I think that was pretty impressive. 11.4 broad jump. His teammate was even more impressive in certain respects. He ran a faster time. He ran a 4.3 flat.
He's a corner, another
40.
corner.
Yeah. We're just still talking
okay,
corner.
Who's his name again from Maryland? The other corner?
Jacorian Bennett.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bennett and Banks.
Yeah.
The Maryland dynamic duo.
He's a little smaller at 5'11", 188, but 4.3 is 4.3. And he jumped a 40.5 broad jump, so,
Okay, JJ, what can you tell me about the fastest 40 time at the combine? That was a defensive back that did that.
It was a defensive back from Michigan by the name of DJ Turner.
DJ Turner.
Yeah.
What did he run?
4.26.
Man, my man, prime time in this day ran a 4.27. So DJ bested prime time.
Yeah, so I guess we'll be better. That's what we all expect to happen, right?
Okay, I hope he does. For his sake, I hope he does.
He looked good. Some other Big Ten cornerbacks, Riley Moss looked really well. He looked good. I don't know how to put this, but he's white, and there hasn't been a starting white cornerback, full-time starting white cornerback in over 20 years in the NFL.
He might be the first.
And he looked really good. 6'1", 193, good length.
And he's from, again?
Iowa. 39-inch vertical, ran a 4.45. He's a very physical, good, good press corner. He looked good. Joey Porter did not look. Joey Porter Jr. ran from Penn State. He ran a pretty good 40, better than we would have thought. At 6'3", 193, he ran a 4.46. But he did not do any of the 3-cone, and he did not backpedal.
Well, JJ, let's wrap up the combine. And next time we get together, we're going to talk the NCAA tournament. But until then, WPS, Whoop Pig Suey, what you got?
We'll pick Suey.
All right.